Hello, my name is Sam. This is May 2018 Solo Jazz at 9:20. Today we worked on contrasting, so I'm going to be really boring and talk slowly because Hannah is awesome and has a lot of energy. So today we talked on contrasting. Just kidding, I can't do it. So what we worked on first was we started just a warm-up on matching and complementing, right? So what we did was we started by doing the same moves together, and then we worked on what you did last week, which was to take a move and then maybe change like one thing about it, and that was what we called complementing. And then today we worked on this idea called contrasting. And so what we did was we talked about it in two different ways. One, we talked about it with the music. So when we're listening to the music, we can maybe hear that chug in the music. And then while one person is using that chug, then another person can hit like the melody of the music or hit some like smoother parts and things like that. Or another way that we talked about it was the movement with our bodies. Yeah, so we talked about this fine line between complementing and contrasting. And so you all came up with a few different ways on how to contrast. So the first way was we talked about different levels, right? We talked about high versus low. We talked about if someone was very stationary, you could like do a lot of movement around, right? And then we also talked about this idea of like really sharp movements versus like really smooth movements and things like that. And so we worked on that, and some homework, some food for thought for this was to think about how can we possibly do this contrasting without totally looking completely different than our partner, right? With it still looking like we're dancing solo jazz socially with other people, but instead not just doing solo jazz next to someone, right? So that was a homework to think about that. The next thing was to think about how can we express contrasting in a very different way, like close and far away. So think about it. I had such a blast working with you all and dancing with you all. Hannah will be back next week. See you.